Namaste and warm regards to everyone. I am Rosie Giri from Nepal Live Today. I'd like to welcome you all in the weekly talk series of Nepal Live Today, where we bring different personalities who are doing wonders in business sector, which is contributing to the national economy. Today, to join these conversations, we have a co-founder from Galti, and he is Amit Agrawal. Welcome to our show.
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste. How have you been?
I'm very good.
So that was the very short introductions, and I know that you have many feathers on your hat. How would you like to introduce yourself?
The major introduction is that only. I'm one of the co-founders at Galti. Before Galti, we started Sparrow SMS in 2010. So this has been our two major products in Nepal. And besides that, yes, I volunteer at a lot of organizations, manager of Google Business Group. That's all.
Yeah, I have also heard that you have also been the part of IVLP. Would you like to share?
Yes, IVLP is International Visitors Leadership Program by US Embassy. So they select people. You can't apply for it. And so I was their alumni. I went to US in 2015. It's a fully funded US Embassy program.
So let us talk about your first ventures, right? And what was the inspirations behind establishing that tech-friendly Sparrow SMS?
So honestly, we didn't have a concrete vision as such. It just happened, right? We were doing engineering, and my friends were at Pulchok campus. So the company started as an internship project. They were doing some internship for Nepal Telecom, and the person who gave them internship, unfortunately, he passed away. And when our team members visited Nepal Telecom, they actually wanted the solution that we were building as an intern. So Janaki Technology was registered then and there, and the first client was Nepal Telecom. We made a CDMA billing system, and then that was back in 2007, in third year, while we were in third year engineering only. In 2010, we started Sparrow SMS. So back then, the country was going through load shedding, up to 14 hours of power cut, and access to information was really rare. And Sparrow SMS came in that way, and even small use cases like checking your load shedding routine, or checking your SLC result, or even checking the price of the vegetables at the Kalimati market by the farmers in the rural areas became big services. And we used to serve millions and millions of SMS. So for example, how I checked my SLC result, right? So I'm from Birganj, and when the results were out, there was no online medium to check results, and the results would be published in Gorkhapatra. So there was one shop near Trijodi school, Pustak Bhandar or something, and so he used to get Gorkhapatra through airlines, and we used to all queue up to check our results, just pass and fail. So if you are pass, we pay 10 rupees. If you fail, you don't have to pay any money. That's how we checked our results. But now with technology, the government was paying like to the newspaper to publish each symbol number. They had to pay around 6 rupees. But with technology, now what happens is, after the results are published, almost the entire nation checks it in 3 hours with entire grade sheet.
With less effort.
Yes, with less effort, less money, and the government earns revenue out of it. We pay to the government per SMS. The things have changed. Earlier, government paid the newspaper. So we served up to 300 SMS per second for SLC results. These are the small services. There was another service which was a service from Department of Foreign Employment. We were the technical vendor for that. All the migrant workers going abroad. It was a lot of issues related to safe migration. People were getting cheated, and sometimes even if their visa is not approved, the agent would take money and go away.
That still happens.
Or suppose you got a job of a driver, but the agent would tell that you have got a corporate job and send you, right? So with SMS, people could check their labor permit. So in labor permit, you have all the details, that which country, what is your valid date, what kind of job, and what is the fee. Everything is through one SMS. Now, people going abroad, they are not so educated, most of them, right? We thought we will not get SMS, but surprisingly, we used to receive 1 million SMS per year.
Wonderful.
Right, so that also helped a lot of rural migrants check their labor permit, and they would not believe the agents. If the agent is lying, they could check it themselves through just a SMS, right? So these are small services. There are many more services. Today Sparrow SMS serves more than 300 million SMS per year. Yeah, so it's been more than 12 years now.
So back then 1 second equals to 300, reaching out to the 300 people, right?
Yes.
So it was the completely new idea.
So I would not say it was a new idea, but the execution was new. No one would do it in that focused way. For all other companies, SMS was a side product, but for us, SMS was the only product. So we had 25 people working just on SMS. So that's the DNA of our company. We don't do too many things. In fact, for 12 years, we didn't do anything else. We did just SMS, right? We didn't make websites, we didn't make softwares, we would not take any contract jobs, we would not do any outsourcing. So when the deeper you go, the horizon broadens, right? And because of that, we could build a lot of solutions around SMS, and that's why we serve 300 million SMS these days.
What was the initial response to your startup?
See, people were used to SMS, like the couples would send SMS to get a good night message or a proverb. So I myself, what I have done is, like, I used to take proverbs in English language, love quotes, and I would hire an intern and convert it into Nepali language, and then launch a service like type Maya and send love and get love quotes at ₹5, and we used to get SMS. So those were the times when there was no app or there was no internet as such. Like, there was internet, but we used to go cyber cafes.
Exactly.
So access to information was very scarce, and that's where the need of SMS was there.
Okay. And the Sparrow SMS, reaching out to the many people, as you say that the executions was only the new thing, the idea was there, but it was your team who, put that extra spark into the SMS.
Yes.
So working into just an SMS thing, you can actually help people reaching to the correct informations, or the access of informations could be better.
Yes.
And is it still spreading all over the nation?
Yes. So see, now times have changed, right? The internet penetration is good, the smartphone penetration is good, and people have smartphones, people have mobile applications, right? So those days people didn't have all those things. So we have done good work in access to information. Till date people send us SMS, but now the incoming SMS is less. What has increased is, as a technology vendor, the OTP SMS has increased, one-time password SMS. So those days a lot of companies would not have their websites or apps, but now they have their app. So whenever they have an app, they have to register users and they have to send notifications. So SMS is now used more into A2P, we say, application to peer. Earlier it was peer-to-peer or peer-to application, where people used to send SMS to get info. But now companies send, like, if you are doing, so say if you are withdrawing money from an ATM, you get SMS immediately, right? So those type of services and technology are more into use these days, and that's why we have worked for more than a decade in access to information, and we knew that now it is time to create another impact, move into something that the country needs, and so we are now working on access to finance.
Wonderful. So, had you ever envisioned that reaching to this far when you first thought about Sparrow SMS?
No, not at all, not at all. It was just like we were doing every day. We didn't have a moonshot then, right? But yes, we knew that we wanted to do something in Nepal. I personally feel that life is very good in Nepal. I don't want to go and get settled abroad. And so I want to do something here.
We want people like you here in Nepal.
Yes. So not just me, my co-founders and all, they believe in the fact that life is very good in Nepal, and we can do things here. There are a lot of opportunities. So we never thought that we would be serving millions of people through just SMS service, right? But yes, it happened, and there were a lot of challenges, a lot of service, like different. Different innovative services as well. We learned a lot. For example, EC Mode is one of our client, and they would use satellites to predict forest fires. And whenever there is a chance of a forest fire, they would send SMS alert to farmers. that there can be a forest fire. So we were just a service, but it could save a lot of life, right? Or we were part of people's emotions, like you got a SMS that your salary has been credited, you know, or today there is no class, you know. So or like congratulations, you have passed with first division, you know? So we were part of people's joy and emotions, and that's what we enjoyed a lot. And when it became big, we served people from all 77 districts. Then we thought that yes, now it's time to create another impact, do something bigger than access to information, and that's why we started Galti in 2017. Recently, it's been 5 years.
So this is the world of technology, like things keeps on changing within a second, right? So in this ever-changing world, do you think that there is any strategy which is so useful early but now isn't in use?
So I would not say strategy, yes, but there are technologies that is outdated now, right? For example, in our times we used to have a torch, we used to have a camera, you know, we used to have a FM transmitters, or we used to buy Kodak reels, right? But things have changed and you don't need those now, right? Or maybe in future, like for example, using smartwatches, you know, things are changing that way. So I would not call it as a strategy, but yes, the internet has become too noisy. Earlier in 2010, when we started Sparrow SMS, social media or Google ads helped us a lot. During those days, very less companies would do Google ads in Nepal, right? And the ads were cheaper also. But now it has become noisy, it's become competitive, pricey, and now you don't have a lot of time on internet. Like if your content is not interesting, if you cannot grab the attention of the user within first 3 seconds, then you know it's just not working. So you need to be creative, and you need to keep your user at the center, not yourself. Like it's not about you or your product or your service or what you offer. It is about what the user is going through, what is his pain, and what you can do to serve that user, you know. So this is a common thing even earlier also. Technology has evolved, and with new technology there is new outreach. For example, I'll give you, earlier when there was a small coverage of our work in say Kantipur, a lot of people would call me that आज तेरो कान्तिपुरमा हेर्यौ नि राम्रो लाग्यो हैन. But today what happens is, I'm not trying to mention a particular paper, but this is a fact, that even if I give a big ad on Kantipur, my friend would not call me. And if I post it on Facebook that okay, today is our ad, then they, after seeing our Facebook, they will go and check paper.
Yeah.
So you know, the way people consume information has changed. Yeah. So we have to also cater to that.
See the importance of this digitalizations, or you say, you know, our country has been more tech friendly during the COVID-19s, and we know, you know, the importance of the technologies at that period. And the COVID-19s have impacted almost every sector, right? But this is also the fact that it has blessed this technology world, or the technology business. What do you have to say about that?
See, necessity is the mother of all inventions, right? So COVID was important for us in a way, or it has blessed us in a way that it changed the mindset of people. It's not that the transactions grew heavily, because if you see during COVID times, people were not paying electricity bills, people were not doing any other transactions, or even if they are at home, they don't need to recharge the mobile phone a lot because they are connected to internet and there is WhatsApp, Viber, right? And all the shops were closed. So many services like flights, e-commerce, movies, they were closed, right? So the transaction went to 50%, but what grew was the mindset of people. The luxury became the necessity, right? So earlier, if you wanted a recharge card, you could get it. You just come out of your house, you'll get it in any shop. But now when you are not allowed to go out, then yes, okay, there is another way. It is similar to like when demonetization happened in India, people started using the wallet. Paytm was active then. So it was the same case here. So, or even a lot of merchants and SMEs who didn't want to collect payments using digital mediums, now they had no option, right? So a lot of internet service providers, they started promoting that you can pay using Galti or the other ways. And the behavioral change, which is a big blocker for wallets, COVID helped us change that mindset a lot.
So you're a co-founder of Galti. Let us
Yes.
share more about it. How did this idea evolve?
Like I mentioned, we have worked as a telecom VAS provider since 2010, and we wanted to now transform from a telecom focused service to a consumer focused service, and we saw that there's a big scope in Nepal in access to finance. When I talk about financial inclusion, it is not just payments. Digital payments is first step. When you talk, our vision is to bring financial inclusion for all Nepali, which means payments, which means access to capital, which means credit scoring, insurance, share market, a lot of financial overall, the way people transact, we want to change that. So how Galti started is like, there were no strong players in the market. Digital penetration was only 3%, so we knew 97% is yet to be done. Smartphone penetration, like if you see the customs data, it was growing 25% year on year. Internet, there was like smart tel, new telcos were coming, and 4G expansion for NTC and smart cell was going to grow, and there was a big competition in ISP sector, so the price of internet was going down, and government was talking about smart cities, was talking about national ID, was talking about centralized KYC systems. So all these factors were very encouraging for a digital wallet, right? And that's why we started Galti in 2017.
What are its very unique features?
So we started like a regular wallet. It took us quite some time to integrate all banks because there's no unified payment system in Nepal, so we had to go and integrate with each bank separately. So that took us 5 years. But now we will innovate, we'll bring new services, we'll solve people's problems. So for example, Galti is very preferred app for flight tickets booking because of the user experience and the support that we give. We have a dedicated travel support. Galti is most preferred app for movie booking, so you can like go select your movies, select your theaters, show time, even select your seats, and within 50 seconds the ticket will be in your hand. Galti is very widely used for ride sharing payments, so all Pathao drivers or other drivers or maybe upcoming in driver, you can just all of them, they accept Galti. There are many more innovations, like the government has given 10% VAT refund on online payment. Galti has implemented that with Worldlink. So if you make Worldlink payments through Galti, you get VAT refund. And there are many more services, like people can load money using Connect IPS, or we have a daily quiz, financial literacy quiz, where you could play quiz every day and you get scratch cards or Galti points. And at the same time, you increase your knowledge about banking and finance. So we're trying new ways to engage with people and serve them.
Wonderful. Now let us also share, how did this word Galti emerged?
See, whenever we thought of a word or a startup, we want a high recall value. So if you listen it once, you should not forget it. So Galti was something like that. We wanted a thet Nepali word. We didn't want Hamro Galti. We didn't want prefix or postfix. Hamro Galti, Timro Galti, E Galti, M Galti, no. Or we didn't want Galti Mandu or Galti Pay or something, So it was a thet Nepali word. That was the second thing. And third, one day we would take it international. So we wanted a domain, galti.com. We do not want just NP. So that was also available. And yes, it has to relate with pocket and wallets and something. Galti badai tirnus, Galti mein haldinus. It should work that way. So Galti was selected out of 40 names that we selected.
Wonderful. So now let us also share about how Galti has contributed to this course of digitalizations of the economy.
See, we have just started. 5 years is a less time, but I would share some stats. We have 2.7 million users. Out of them, close to 500,000 users are active. Now, if you see, if we save even 10 hours of a person per month, because earlier that person would be going to pay electricity bills or to book a movie ticket or to go to bank and do bank transfers. Now, if you are saving 10 hours, so how much productive hours we are saving for the nation per month? So we are saving 5 million productive hours for the nation per year, per month. So think in that way. Now, had there not been digital payments, by now the traffic of Kathmandu would not be livable.
Okay.
You know, so currently if you see billions of dollars are being online payment. Like if you see, I'm not speaking in dollars, I mean to say खरबौं रुपैयाँ चाहिँ online, there are online transfers, bank transfers, right? Not just through Khalti, through all wallets or clearinghouse, right? Had that not been there, there would be a long queues in bank. But now the bank staffs are idle, so they could focus on more loans or deposits or sales, right? NRB spends billions of rupees just to print new notes, or even recycle them, or to store them, or to, you know, the logistics. But now they need not spend so much money because people are transacting online. And when we save time of people, it's not just time, it is their health, it is when you travel, it is saving the fuel. You know, one of our highest import is fuels. But if you could do things online, you know, if you could do bank transfers online, if you could pay your electricity bill online, then you have to do less commute. So that is a big contribution to environment, to the nation, and also to the transparency, taxation and everything. And the more digital you go, the corruption decreases.
Yeah.
Right. So there are many more good parts for saving papers. I think digital wallets save paper the most. For example, flight tickets. So Khalti is the most preferred app for flight tickets now. 70% of the people, they book their tickets online and they don't need to print it. So imagine how many prints you are saving every day. So you are saving more than 10,000 printouts every day. It's just flight. Talk about internet, talk about mobile top up, even physical recharge cards of mobile, they are not environment friendly. Even the I think the silver coated recharge scratch thing is not good for your skin. And there is a big hassle of environment problem and logistics problem. Now a lot of that has gone online, so there is a big contribution. But yes, having said that, lot more to do.
Yeah, when we talk about this digital payment, we should not forget that there are also the peoples who are not technical friendly, or the people who are not friendly with the technology yet. So, and the app like Khalti, have you started any campaign to spread the awareness?
Yes, so we have done two things for that, for people who are not so tech savvy. One is we have made agents. So retail shops, stationery shops, kirana shops, they are Khalti agents. So we have more than 50,000 agents. In fact, it would be 60,000, I think, all everywhere, all around the country. And a lot of people who are not technology friendly, they would walk to those puzzles nearby their house and say that please pay my electricity bill, or please renew my internet or television, or give me a top up. So that is one campaign. The other thing is we have the Smart Chori campaign. So Smart Chori campaign is where we are creating digital financial literacy workforce, digital financial literacy champions for girls is I think 19 to 35, right? That's the age group. So in that, what we do is we train the girls through our app. There are tutorials, exams, tasks. So a simple task would be like, go to your dad and ask the electricity bill and pay 1 rupee advance. You know, and once they do it, then they could go to the next level, and we incentivize for all the tasks. Now this is Smart Choris. They form a community, you know, a peer-to-peer network, and they would then train their mothers, their sisters. You know, 53% female ratio in our country. So face-to-face literacy. And on the other hand, we have created more than 500 videos, tutorial videos. We have Khalti Ko Kura series, and we have also made our app in Nepali language. You know, so we are trying to create awareness at our level. But having said that, it is not an individual effort; it's an entire industry effort, or even the regulators' effort, to create more awareness and focus on financial literacy. And things are changing gradually. If you see the NRB reports, the number of digital transactions is increasing heavily, and in past 5 years it has been phenomenal. Next 2-3 years it will be great.
Our young visionaries time and again say that startup here in Nepal are quite tough. I want to hear from your experience.
See, startups are not tough. It becomes tough when you start without preparation. You know, there is something called illusion of explanatory depth, which means you feel you know everything. For example, you want to start a doctor appointment system in Kathmandu. So you look the problem from the superficial level, that okay, as a consumer I'm not getting a doctor appointment, how can I get it, right? But when you dive in, you see the problem is not just doctor or consumers, you have to coordinate with the hospital, with the pharmacy, with the lab, because everyone has their revenue share, right? So initially we feel that we know 10 out of 10 of the idea, that's the illusion that we have, but when we go into depth we know that we know only 2 out of 10 and then we shut down, right? So it is the hard work, patience, teamwork that is missing, and the research is missing. We have a habit that we see something on Facebook and we just comment it right away without thinking anything, right? So research, data analytics is very important. Even when we started Khalti, I told you some stats that smartphone customs data shows that 25% is increasing, 4G data is this, internet data is this, digital penetration is this, scope is this, and then we have a team, we can do it, this is the roadmap, and then we start, right? So preparation and then hard work is more important. That is the biggest problem, and then we have one easy solution: going abroad.
Yeah.
Right, so we lose patience quite soon and then we go abroad, and that's the biggest problem of the country.
From your experience, 3 tips you would like to give to the people, to our young visionaries who wanted to start their career in startup?
The first tip would be believe in yourself. We should value our things. We have always been taught wrong that our country is poor. We always feel that the Western countries are good. So there is a pull factor, because we have not seen the problems there. We just see somehow social media has made us believe that we should look happy, and we see just that picture, right? We don't believe in our stuffs. Like, our stuffs can be better. For example, our mustard oil can be better than olive oil, but we find that olive oil is better because that is branded well, or our statues made by Ernico would be better than Mona Lisa, right? But we don't believe in ourselves. We don't believe in our potential. Everything is mindset. So that is the most important thing. Second, look around, look for problems. When there are problems, there are opportunities. So during our times, what was the biggest problem? Tell me. The biggest problem when we were studying was Nepal Bandha, right? But see, someone made a business out of it, and today routine of Nepal Bandha is one of the fastest growing media on social media, right? And their earnings are very good. Or load shedding was the biggest problem, but we could make people check routine through SMS, and we could earn lakhs of rupees there, right? So there's a business. Or someone made an app and sold that app for 2 million rupees, right? So when you look around, you'll see problems, and then you can look for solution. That is the second thing. Third, research, explore. If you want to do something, just go and check customs data. What are we importing? If you just check that, you'll see ample market in Nepal. Like, see, we are the largest potential for electricity, but see the fate of our country. We spend our maximum dollars in fuel imports, petrol, despite being the largest potential for hydroelectric, right? We are an agricultural country, but our second or top 10 import would be rice. So we can change that, and no one else is going to change it for you. You have to change it, right? We have to. Patriotism doesn't come through words, right? If we always like green card more than our voter ID, we have no right to speak about changing our country, right? We can't be sitting at our house and wanting others to go on a street and make the change. No, we have to be involved ourselves. So these are 3 tips. Believe in yourself, and like the second tip was research, analytics, and the third is like explore. Sorry, I mixed it up. See the data and stats, do your research well, and consistent work is very important. So you can see a dream. Everyone needs to see a dream. You need to have a purpose. You need to have a cause that, okay, this is where I want to reach. But that is not enough. First you see a dream, but then from the next day you work on your competency and skill set. And if you don't increase your competency and skill set, you can't achieve the dream, right? So that's where we lack. We see big dreams, but we don't upgrade ourselves. We don't practice. We don't sacrifice. So it's said like a calm sea doesn't make a skilled sailor. Or there's a proverb in Hindi which says, एक पत्थर चोट खा के कंकर कंकर हो गया और एक पत्थर चोट सह के संकर संकर हो गया, which means that a stone which is afraid of hammer cannot become a statue, right? So there's no alternative to hard work. So we have to have that patience and believe in ourselves, believe in our country, and then work with full commitment. That's what I would like to say.
For any startup, for its growth, the government support is equally important.
Yes.
So what kind of support this digital wallets or the startup like yours is getting from the government?
See, when you say specifically digital wallet, yes, we need to have friendly policies such that the informal economy is attracted to come into formal economy. So there has to be good policies for the SMEs, for businesses, that okay, digital payment should be mandatory for the loans, or if a business is collecting payments digitally, they should get some incentives, some special subsidies on loan, or some special economic zones. Or we can see from the nearby markets how India promoted in digital payments. There is something called MDR, which is merchant distribution ratio, where that's the commission the merchant has to give. So government observed that commission, right? They absorbed it, so the merchant does not have to pay. So with these incentives, the merchant should come online. There is one initiative from government in Nepal which says you get VAT refund 10%, but it's too less an incentive and too much hassle. So not much merchants have come into that. So government has to do that. But for other startups, what I would say that government can just be stable. That's what the government can do. And if you see, there are times when the government was not smart, then more startups came out.
Yeah.
If the government is smart, for example, you want to do a momo thela, you can do it very easily in Nepal, right, and earn good money. And there are thelas which are not paying income taxes also, right? Same thing you want to go and do in US. Can you do it that easily?
Not really.
No, you have to first see that is there another momo thela within a radius or in that neighborhood or not. You need to take permission from food compliance, that where are you going to buy your chicken or paneer from, right? And you need to pay your all types of federal and state taxes, and then you do a business. But in Nepal there are hundreds and thousands of IT freelancers who are earning money online but not paying any taxes. So when the government is not smart, it is right time for you people to go and be smart and become entrepreneurs. You know, so don't blame the government. Look for opportunities around. Every problem has an opportunity around. That's what I believe.
So whatever we do, you know, at any businesses or at any sectors, if there are no good policies, there's a big question marks on its sustainability. What do you have to say about that?
See, policies never come first. It's the innovation that comes first. And when that innovation is about to impact mass, then a policy is made. So even Rashtra Bank didn't come first. There was Nepal Bank. And then to regulate, Rashtra Bank came, right? If someone never drove a plane, there would never be a pilot license examination, right? So innovation is always ahead and the regulators come back, right? So if Tutal launched in Nepal after having a ride-sharing regulation, it would have never launched. But when it launched, when it started impacting people's life positively, then there would be a regulation, right? So we need to start. We need to so that it has a positive impact on the people. And when that happens, then the policies will be made. Then there will be groups to lobby it, right? So, for example, there was this startup in Nepal, Food Mario, which would get you foods from our home-based workers, right? And I think it's a wonderful model for a country like ours, because a lot of females in our country are not going to formal office work.
Right.
So they are sitting back and they are very good cooks, very good cooks.
Yeah.
And so they could always cook and earn money, right? But if Food Mario would go to regulators and look for a policy and then start, it would never work. First they have to start. When they are small, no one cares. If they become really big, yes, the restaurants will care, everyone will care, and then when they are big, they will have the muscle to lobby also. When you are small, you can always start, and ideas like that which cater to our needs should be in place, and people should try. Don't be afraid of failing.
So what do you have to think or what do you have to say about our regulatory bodies? Like, are they doing quite good job?
In our case, NRB is doing good job. That's what I see. But yes, all the ministries need to talk to each other. Like, for example, if salary is paid in a wallet, the labor ministry doesn't recognize it. It says that the salary has to be sent in bank, while we are also a licensed institution through NRB. So the ministries need to talk to each other. same kind of projects different ministries are doing in their own way, and they should hire more capable people, who can catch up with the innovation. If the innovation is too fast and regulator is too slow, then it's going to be a problem. Third thing, government endorses digital payments, but they don't enforce. Right, at places they need to enforce that if you need loan, there has to be this percentage, or you have to have at least one digital payment. It's compulsory. Or even government, all the government payments has to be done digitally. Like it should be a mandate. So when these changes come, then I think it won't take much time. I know today Nepal is going through economic crisis. It's a world crisis, Russia-Ukraine war and all. But I see a very bright future for Nepal, because 3-4 years from now, a lot of hydropower projects would come into picture, and will be very electric rich country, and all our petrol cars would be gradually replaced with electric cars. And with that kind of natural resources in our country, I think the good times are ahead. We need to sustain these 3-4 years very critically, and if that is done well, I think Nepal is a small place, right? It's just 3 crore population. Sometimes policies are easy to implement, like in Kathmandu, no hunt policy was implemented in a week. But if you go to India, it's not possible. Or in US, changing from magnetic card to chip card was a big hassle. But in Nepal, all our ATM cards have been now changed into chip cards. So it's easy in a small place. And I think in next 3-4 years, there will be huge digitalization if government mandates a lot of things.
As I've already come with this government endorsement thing, like what 3 things that the government do for the endorsement of the startup like this digital payment? So
the government should give special incentives to SMEs and merchants for coming into digital channels, and that should be lucrative, not like 10% VAT. It should be really attractive, good tax incentives, and government should mandate digital payments for bigger loans or some kind of better privileges or special economic zones, and all government organizations should mandatorily accept digital payments. These are 3 things which government should do to increase digitalization and digital payments in Nepal, because the backbone is fintech. The backbone is payment. Where there is a transaction, where there is karobar, it has to be digitalized, and that connects every dot.
Right after a decade, any big plans from Galti?
See, a decade is too far. Decade is too far. As per the mandate from Rashtra Bank, we will soon be converting ourselves into a public limited company, and 3 to 4 years from that we will be coming up with an IPO, because that's a mandate. If we convert ourselves from a private limited to public limited, within 3 years we have to go for an IPO. So we will prepare for that. And yes, we need to bring more innovative services for our people. I'll also request one more thing for the government. The national ID project should be expedite in a way that it can be a base, a national ID or a blockchain based KYC, centralized KYC, these kinds of things become
like the Russian card things happened in India.
Yes, Aadhaar card in India, that was the base for all digitalization. So here because see, the same person is having multiple IDs. I have passport, I have Nagrita, I have PAN card, and I have this and I have that, a number of identities, and all not connected. So there has to be national ID, and we won't take a decade. Like in 5 years from now, we'll have a dream to reach every household of Nepal. Yes.
As a youth, I would like to listen from you the major hurdles for Nepali youth to start a new ventures from your personal experiences.
See, I don't have exact answer to this, but what I feel is, again, necessity is the mother of all inventions. There is no necessity. We are living in our father's lodge, and we are eating in our mother's restaurant, right? In Nepal, we don't want to do any kind of work because there is no dignity of labor. But when we go to US, we want to work 20 hours a week legally, and then 20 hours illegally also, right? We want to work 40 hours, any kind of work. So once we do that in our country, once we have that sense that we have to be independent, we can do things here, that mindset is the only blocker. It is told that we are a poor country, so the country is pushing us to go abroad, and the abroad is pulling us, because of our mindset. But once we break that mindset, once we start feeling that we are superior than the Western countries, then I think we will try to do things here. And once that changes, I think things will change here. With regards to startups or business, yes, don't look for technology or don't look for just glamour, look for problems. And see if that problem has a business in it, or if you have the right skill set to solve that problem. You can't solve every problem, right?
Yeah.
And commitment. You can't be doing 10 things at a time and then thinking ki yo chalyo bhane I'll do this, tyo chalyo bhane I'll do this. No, until and unless you give full time to chaldaina, and you will have to sacrifice things for that. So these cultural changes are required, where we, like, what percentage of undergrad in Nepal pay their own fees? Very less.
Yes.
Their parents pay it, right? So there's no need. But once that changes, yes, people will hustle to do something, you know, and they will work, like they will do evening shift, they will work as a waiter, they will work as a cleaner, they will do it. And once they do it, then they will have hunger that why I'm working like a cleaner, I can do my own business. And with that, that will ignite them to do things here. And there are big markets, like if you see in Kathmandu, Thakali is 8 arb per year. It's a big market. Cake per day 2 crores. Right? If you just see the stats, like even if you do a small chatpate or a small momo shop or a small thing, there's big money in it. So we have to think from that perception. Once the mindset changes, I think there would not be any other blocker.
So yes, we have talked a lot about this digital payment world and how we are growing here in Nepal. Thank you so much for joining in. We have come to the end of today's conversations. So before going, any good messages for our audiences?
No, nothing as such. I would repeat that life is very good in Nepal. And our culture, our traditions, the way we live, our food, even COVID so does that, right? Hamle khane masala, or you know, the way we live, vegetarian lives, Hindu lives. I don't mean to say all of us are Hindu, but what I'm trying to say is what we have learned from our cultures, you know. We have a very good life here, but we need to believe in that. We need to believe that our Gundpak and Pushtakari is better than Switzerland's chocolates. You know, we need to believe that our water, Himalayan water, is better than any other branded cold drinks, right? We need to believe that our Bhaktapur ko chang is better than any other Raksi that we import. You know, once we start thinking that way, we can bring the change, and it is us who has to bring the change. You know, no one else would come and do that for you. So that's the only message. And yes, I see good things ahead for Nepal, and with youths, because we have a lot of energy in Nepal, and that's the only currency in the world. We have a lot of natural resources, a lot of youths. And if we utilize that, what we are doing wrong is we are exporting those youth.
Exactly.
So instead of doing that, if we build things in Nepal, I think we can change it in maybe 5 years. 5 years, like big change, like a transformed Nepal can be seen.
Yes. So thank you so much for such a lovely conversations and taking your time out for this interview.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. Thank you so much.
Yeah, with this we have come to the end of today's conversations. We will be right back with all the vibrant personalities in our other weekly talk series. Till then, take care and keep watching Nepal Live Today.